Right, well, good evening, everybody, and it's lovely to see you all on the call. It's my pleasure to welcome you all and introduce you, or introduce myself. So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Michelle Johns, and I'm the host for this evening, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all on this very sunny evening. Everywhere. I know we've got people on the call from Spain, Portugal, as well as the UK, and I think the UK has actually got probably even better weather than we have here in Portugal. So you make the most of it and enjoy it. So it's great to see you all on the call. And tonight we're just going to do a very brief overview of the Juice Plus company. I know there's a few people joining us for the first time, so we're going to keep it very brief. And we've got Marcel, who's going to run through the quick presentation, touch on the products. But if you want more information, obviously you just go back to the person that's invited you to the call and they can give you all the nitty gritty. But the main reason for putting this call together is to talk to some of our team. We've got fantastic team members. I think the thing about why we're all here is, though we all come from really diverse backgrounds, we all come together with that common goal of wanting to make a difference. And we've all experienced the products, had fantastic results with them, and that's why we really are passionate about sharing them with other people. So we've got 4 or 5 testimonials, so you'll hear from people that are actually in the business, how they got started, why they got started, the benefits they've received from the products, and what they're doing with the business. So I'll just quickly introduce myself. As I said, Michelle Johns. I've been with the Juice Plus company now for just over 16 years. My background is health and beauty therapy. So I had a beauty salon. Obviously, I'm really passionate about helping my clients look and feel good. But I always felt that there was something missing because I felt I was looking after them purely from the outside. So I was recommending skincare products. I was doing treatments for them. But I knew that for that real health and vitality to shine through, it had to come from the inside out. And I went along to a talk, was just invited to come along, didn't really know very much about what I was going to, but I sat there absolutely spellbound as the scientific evidence about this product was put up. And one of the slides showed the levels of antioxidants and how significantly they were increased after taking Juice Plus for 30 days. And it was my light bulb moment that, wow, that's what my clients need. This is the bit that's missing. I can look after them from the outside, but, it's got to come from the inside, and that comes from good nutrition. And as much as I think most of us know what a good diet is, we know what we should be doing, but to eat that huge variety of fruits and vegetables on a daily basis, the majority of us don't do. So I knew that this product was something that was really going to fill in those gaps, and that was why I got very excited about it. As I said, that was 16 years ago. Initially, it was something I just wanted for my clients, so it was something that I was going to recommend from the salon as part of my protocol. I didn't actually understand the business initially. And it probably took me a little while because I was sort of saying, I'm very busy, I'm running my own business, I've got several salons, that's what I do. Until I actually started to understand the flexibility that the Juice Plus company gives you when you have your own business with it. And that really started to get interesting. Because for me to earn money, I had to be in my salon every single day. For me, if I went on holiday, I didn't get paid. So to understand the beauty of network marketing, it was kind of a revelation. And now, 16 years on, my husband and I, Gordon's in the business, he's been in the business for 25 years. We actually met through the business. So, that was an added bonus, something that I never expected at the time. But we've been able to move down to Portugal and, we're starting our life, or the next chapter of our life down here in Portugal, running our business and doing it online. And technology, as it's evolved since we first got involved, it's changed and completely works in our favor that we can do this business, or you can do this business from absolutely anywhere. So that's a little bit about me. Before we go any further, I would like to introduce you to our presenter for this evening. Marcel has been in the business. In fact, Marcel, it was November 2015 you joined, wasn't it?
Wow, that's very, very good math.
Yeah, November 2015. And Marcel joined with his wife Azra, so they're a husband and wife couple. They too have moved from the UK and they're now living in Spain with their 2 young children. So they're living the dream, and running the business from Spain. So I'm going to hand over to you, Marcel. I'll bring up the slides and you can just introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about yourself before we go into the presentation.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for inviting me onto the call and to host tonight. It is my first time, so take it easy with me. But also, just a little bit more about myself. I'm a physical therapist, and my lovely wife is a pharmacist. And we basically were introduced to this by Howard, who's also on the call. And I was introduced initially, and as most health professionals are, very skeptical. But then was introduced to the science, which I couldn't refute, and was blown away by. Then I had to try it, which I did. I then got told off by my wife, who's a pharmacist, which is what happens because, you know, obviously it's difficult for me to make a decision by myself. But she also took the product and had a fantastic result. And we both did. We both had our own individual results. And for me, it was a measure of immunity. So I was absolutely thrilled by the fact that I couldn't afford to be sick, just as Michelle just said. If I'm running my own business and if I'm sick or if I'm interacting with my clients, I cannot be sick. So I was regularly being sick, maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Didn't want to do that anymore. So I needed to find a solution, and this fit the bill absolutely brilliantly. The more I learned about it, the more impressed I became. And then, of course, the business opportunity came about. And it just sat perfectly with what I was doing because I knew that my clients needed something like this. Not all of them. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But it was so easy to share and talk about because of my own experience that it just made sense. And now, obviously, we're here because Juice Plus are here as well. So we've been able to continue just as we were before, continuing with our business, which is absolutely fantastic and very exciting for us as well. And I'm also now just setting up my clinic here as well. So that's picking up very nicely too.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. So I shall just start with the first slide.
Yeah.
And you can take it away.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Right. So as you can quite clearly see from the presentation here, the history of the company is the thing that gives this organization gravity. It gives it responsibility in the sense that it's not a new company. So what that means is that there's reliability in the history of its current existence. So it's been around long enough, firstly in the form of the NSA, and then developing 27 years ago, I believe, into Juice Plus, and therefore having enough of a corporate and business history in order to demonstrate that it's obviously not a startup. It's not something that's going to fail, and therefore gives enormous amount of reliability. So that was very important for me personally when I was looking into the reliability of the company itself. If you go to the next slide. Based obviously in Memphis, so that's fairly straightforward. But obviously I understand that a lot of the distribution for Europe comes from Switzerland. So that's also very relevant for those people in Europe. It's important to know that the products come from Switzerland and are distributed from Germany. Now, it's not a new company, as you can see there. So 47 years old in total, 13 billion in obviously sales. But the most exciting part, and the part that I find very interesting, is that only in the most recent history has it been growing even faster. So the last year was $1 billion in sales, which is a very interesting reality because obviously it means that it is growing and the growth is there to be taken. And that means also, what I found interesting is that I had never heard of this business before it was introduced to me. And people I still speak to have never heard of this business. And that to me is a massive opportunity because it means that it's something that they need to learn about. It's something they're going to be open to. They don't have an opinion of it until I explain it to them. And very often that tends to be a positive one. So I love the fact that it's been around for so long and it's now really accelerating in a very exciting way. Next slide, thank you. So how do we make money? So this is really relevant, particularly if you're new to this call or to this information. Essentially, there's 4 aspects to how we do business. And that is create happy customers. I'll let you read it for yourself, but creating happy customers in any form of business will result in more business. If you walk into a store and you get good customer service and good support, you're more likely to spend your money. You're more likely to return to that store as well. The same principle applies here. If you recommend this product to someone, then obviously they're more likely to share it with others and enjoy their experience as well. And it is about a customer experience. And as a result of your getting happy customers, you retain a customer retail profit as well. So you get a commission on all of the sales that you make directly to the people that you share it with. Essentially, you're getting paid for a recommendation. Now, this is where it becomes quite unique in this industry, in that it is very much encouraged that you recommend this product as opposed to forcibly sell it or twist anyone's arm to do it. You're not a car salesman. What you are is you're enlightening people to what it is, how it can work, how it's worked for you perhaps, and then you can recommend it to people based on what you think they need. And that's how really all you should be doing, because you never really want to make any claims or anything like that. And that's very important. Building a team is how you take this business to the next level. So you can, of course, simply recommend it and earn from the commissions that you make from the sales that are directly connected with you. However, if you build a team of people who essentially duplicate exactly what you do, so if you're good at sharing this product, what you do is you teach others who want to do the same how to share the product in exactly the same professional way. And what that does is that the company repay you for every single sale that they incur as well. And it's really important to be aware that the payment comes from the company as opposed to from your team, for example. And it actually benefits you to lift your team as high as you can, essentially. And that's really important to be aware, because very often there's a confusion around this industry in that only the people at the top ever earn any money, and that's a complete fallacy. Everyone has the same capacity to earn the money, but whether you actually go out and go after it and do it professionally is a totally different thing. But everyone has that capacity without a doubt. And as it says at the bottom there, you essentially teach others to do the same as you're doing in a professional way. And for every level that you achieve, you actually earn a performance bonus. So for example, if you achieve a certain number of sales in a given month, the company will give you a bonus on top of the commissions that you are earning, and those steadily increase as your business grows as well, which is obviously very attractive and fantastic if you're a goal-driven person. Now, the product overview, obviously, hopefully you've seen these before. I won't go into a huge amount of detail, but the core for me are the three tubs that you can see there, which is the green, the red, and the purple. And the only thing missing from there is the Omega, which is a bright orange tub. And hopefully you know the green is the green is vegetables, the reds are fruits, and the purples are berries. And they are all essential nutrients that we need every single day. It's as simple as that. The omegas are plant-based blend of omega fatty acids, which are very, very important for all sorts of things, including brain, eye function, and joints, which is particularly relevant for me as a physical therapist. If we move to the right, you've got there's two sachets there of vanilla and chocolate flavored complete, which is again a plant-based, non-GMO and pesticide-free. All the products are non-GMO and pesticide-free protein powder, which is absolutely fantastic for post-exercise recovery, as well as a means of getting nutrients into your body without snacking on making poor choices like chocolates or crisps, etc., etc. So if you look down that image, in front of that are two bars, and those are a berry or raspberry. They're different flavors in the different parts of the world, but they are essentially a strawberry flavored bar and a chocolate flavored bar. And those again are designed to give you a nutritional value. If you are somebody who needs the snack or doesn't have time for a full-on lunch, or even have time for the shakes, they're an absolutely brilliant way of meeting or bridging that gap between one meal and the next meal. Above that, you've got a soup, which is a dry powdered soup, which actually is the best source of protein from the whole range, actually, because protein is an excellent source of protein. If you weren't aware of that, actually, peas have an enormous amount of protein in them. And so that's actually our best source of protein in the soup. So again, it's a very convenient, quick way to get a meal or the nutrition from a balanced meal into your body in a very controlled way and very light on your digestive system. And then on the far left, you've got the gummy versions of the vegetables, fruits, and the berries there. Now, this is an excellent system designed primarily for children. And this really appealed to my wife and I, as we've got two little children who are, well, they're not necessarily given the liberty to enjoy all the foods they want. And they're actively encouraged to try and have as many fruits and vegetables as possible. But of course, sometimes you do want to treat them and you want them to have something tasty and sweet and so on that they feel is obviously a bit naughty. And so these gummies are absolutely brilliant because they are very effective at getting nutrition into your body in a way that is very, very appealing. So obviously, if it's a gummified version, and the best part about it, initially we were a little bit apprehensive, but the best part is that they're using a tapioca syrup, which is derived from a plant root anyways. So again, all plant-based products, full of nutrients. And if you're going to give your child a sweet, I always say, give them something that's got a nutritional value. So I think now is a great opportunity to hear from other people who have had real life stories or real life experiences about using these products. So I'll hand it back to Michelle. Oh, Michelle, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I was happily talking away. So I was saying, Simone, perhaps you'd like to share with us your story and perhaps tell us, why you took the product for yourself and how you use it. You're a therapist, and how you use the products within your clinic, and what you saw about the business, what excited you about the business, and why you decided to explore that further.
It was actually one of my patients that gave me a bit of a kick up the backside that got me into the business.
Okay.
So my name's Simone Davis, and I've been qualified in complementary therapies for 18 years. And I began with massage and sports massage and that sort of thing. And then 12 years ago, I became an acupuncturist and herbalist when I did my degree in that. And so I'd spent a long time building up my reputation. And I think, as you said, Michelle, and also Marcel has said, when you are a therapist and people trust you, you really have to have a product to sell to people that you trust. And that's, I think, one of the biggest hurdles that people will have to overcome when it comes to trying to recruit healthcare professionals. And the science speaks for itself. So that's what attracted me in the first place. But it attracted me for myself and for my family. But initially I was too scared to introduce it into my business, because I thought, people will think that I'm just trying to sell, and I don't do sales. I just want to make them better, and I'll just carry on with my acupuncture. And then one day, one of my patients came in. It was February, it was freezing cold. There were winter bugs going around. And she just came sniffling in and she said, "What is it with you? Why are you never ill?" And she said, you're surrounded by patients coming in all through the winter. They've all got their bugs and they're coughing and spluttering all over you. How do you not catch it? And I said, well, I eat well, I sleep well, and I take Juice Plus. And she said, what is this Juice Plus? And I said, encapsulated fruit, vegetables, and berries, because the omegas weren't out then. And she said, well, if you're taking it and it's good for you, why aren't you recommending it? And I said, well, I take it, my family takes it, my daughter's on the Children's Health Study, she's getting great results, but I don't want to be pushy. And she got really angry with me. And she said, I pay you for healthcare advice, and you're not telling me the very thing that you do for your family that's clearly keeping you well when everybody around you is ill. Ouch.
Yeah.
So that was the wake-up call that I needed. And from that point on, I really looked at it in a completely different way. I started introducing it to everybody in my clinic. That month, I found I got the best sales that I'd had since starting the business, because I suddenly realized that I do believe in it, and I was actually doing my patients a disservice. It's kind of unethical not to share it with people when you know that it does you good. And the other thing is with Chinese medicine, I don't know if people know about it, but our diagnosis comes from looking at people's tongues and taking their pulses. And the pulse changes pretty much immediately as we do acupuncture, but the tongue changes over a period of time as the microbiome changes. And that's when I really started to see the results for myself. So the scientific research is brilliant, and I can't argue with 37, 38 pieces of research from universities. But for me and my reputation, I needed to see the results in my patients. And when I started seeing the changes in their tongue coating that I was particularly looking at for the inflammatory load of the gut, I thought, yeah, this is really working. And now I wouldn't dream of not offering it to my patients. And thank goodness, I've got one guy who's 75, and I can't make claims about the product, obviously not. I can only speak about the experiences I've had in clinic. He's 75, he'd been diabetic for 10 years. He started having acupuncture and Juice Plus with me, and within 1 month, he takes readings every day, and he has been for years for his doctor. He takes his blood sugar readings, and they started to improve. And after 2 months, they'd improved so much that his GP took him off metformin and off his high blood pressure tablets. That's just one example I can give from my clinic. There are many, many more that we don't have time to go into. But suffice to say, I'm seeing the results for myself now. And brilliant. I think it would be remiss of me not to share it with my patients.
It's a moral obligation to share it, isn't it? When you know that you get results like that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And it's not selling then as well, it's helping them. Yeah. They want my healthcare advice, and that's what it is.
That's right, it's advice, and it's up to them what they then choose to do with it.
Exactly.
Well done. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sue Worrell, would you like to share your story with us as well, please?
Hi, yes, sure. I've been with the business about 16 years, I think now. Time's going on. And I was a nutritionist for quite a long time before that. And I was extremely skeptical about supplements, really hated it. And the nutritionists I knew that were doing the Patrick Halford nutrition qualification, etc., were all using individual vitamins and minerals and selling them. And as far as I was concerned, they were trying to play God and guessing what was missing out of people's diets. And so anyone who mentioned supplement to me, I was really not happy. And then I was doing an event with a personal trainer, and he had a lady who was called Sue McIntyre that Michelle knows really well. And we were all holding this event in a hotel, and Sue McIntyre was coming along, and the trainer said to me, I'm bringing along a nutritionist who will talk about a supplement. Well, after I came down off the ceiling, I said, we can't do it. And then he looked so crestfallen. I thought, he can't say no at this late date. It was the night before. So she came along. I sat with my arms folded, didn't want to know. After about 5 minutes, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing. This can't be right. It just can't be. It's too good to be true. So she carried on talking, and she was talking about her qualifications, and she was very well qualified. She was a vet and a nutritionist. And then she talked about a few studies they had. And so I put my hand up and I said, I'll have it. And at that point, the 10 ladies that I brought to this event all said, well, if Sue's having it, I'm having it. And so I became a distributor at the same time as I bought my own capsules. But I didn't put it in my business for a while. It took me a while to get it in. But I did mention to people who needed it most. And it was those results really that really made the difference. So as no time went on, really, I decided I got quite a few customers on it. And it was a no-brainer. The results just spoke for themselves. People who'd been stuck, people who were pre-diabetic were no longer pre-diabetic. People with diabetes were no longer taking metformin, like Simone was saying. And my own family were changing rapidly as well, and my own health. I've noticed that I'd had some recent surgery and my energy wasn't the same, and it really made a difference. I'm 70 now this year. I've had a brilliant year, haven't stopped. I took my grandchildren to Disney, partly thanks to the business as well. We walked 10 kilometers a day. I did 100,000 steps.
Wow.
In 9 of the days.
Sue is probably more energetic than her grandchildren. This lady has so much energy, she's unreal.
Well, they gave me a fair run for my money, I have to say.
Oh, okay.
But it was brilliant, and it's just lovely to be that healthy and not worry about keeping up and being able to go on the mad rides and do everything.
Well, you can certainly keep up with them. I know that.
And
Brilliant.
it might be a claim, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not the same without Juice Plus. And just one last thing is that a few days ago, when I came back, my order was all out of sync, and I was without Juice Plus for 6 days. And I didn't think about it. I stole a few gummies of theirs that are in the cupboard sometimes. But I started to take it 2 days ago. And I really noticed the difference. I know it was real. It's a real difference. I just did circuits today, and they were so much better than last week's.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that, Sue. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
And we got Howard on. If Howard's still on, if you can unmute yourself.
I'm
Hey,
muting myself.
I haven't got a picture of you, but I can hear you.
Okay, no problem. Yes, basically my story is essentially in 2 parts. I joined the Juice Plus company, or I joined NSA originally in March 1992, and was active for around about 2.5 years. So I actually witnessed the launch of Juice Plus in September the following year in the United States, and we were receiving what was colloquially called contraband. It was arriving in unofficially for a few of us to try, and then it was launched a few months later. And the concept just made sense to me. It was fruit and veg, and at that stage we just had the red and green capsules in a capsule. I found that my energy levels had improved, and it was also supplementing my business that I had established. However, the timing wasn't ideal, became less than ideal, because I had a major job change, and I was traveling to Russia and the former Soviet Union 5 or 6 times a year. And before you think anything, no, I wasn't a spy. I was traveling extensively over there, and I chose not to continue with it. My career then took a big change. I suppose I had a resistance, or indeed an aversion to authority, and I decided I didn't want a boss anymore, and I was going to work for myself. So wine was a passion of mine. I started a wine company. I actually bought into a business and had to invest £30,000 of my own money. And I only had 50% of the business. Somebody else had to invest another £30,000 just to get started. So that was tremendously risky, but we did okay for a while. And then we had a financial crisis, obviously you may remember, back in 2009, 2010. About 2 years after that, the shockwaves of that really started to hit me. And increasing legislation and bureaucracy made it very, very hard for the little guy to be successful. And I was sort of thinking I was going to needing a plan B. So unwittingly, an old friend of mine, in fact, my original sponsor, got in touch with me at the end of 2013. And as soon as he mentioned Juice Plus, I didn't think of the business initially. I thought of the products, because I was training extensively for a big cycling event the following July. In the Alps, and I knew that the quality of the nutrition would underpin the training I was going to have to be doing. I also figured that in the ensuing 20 years since the product was launched, a few other things would have come along, and they fitted perfectly alongside what I needed nutritionally in terms of the berry capsules and certainly the complete shakes. They were absolutely wonderful, as Marcel said, for post-exercise recovery. And that was really, really helpful for training. But then it occurred to me that maybe I should look at the business once again. Network marketing made complete sense to me. The notion of a passive of income certainly wasn't lost on me either. And everything I did in terms of my due diligence of the company, that extended period of time that we now know about, also the amazing body of evidence, the scientific body of evidence that we have now, 38 peer-reviewed scientific and clinical reviews, confirming that the product does more than it says on the tin, so to speak. That was wonderful. Also, the Children's Health Study, where children can receive our products absolutely free. I don't have children myself, but I thought what a wonderful thing to be able to offer people and allow their children to actually benefit. That meant that it wasn't something that I felt I could be involved. I just had to be involved. I really, really did. It was my obligation, as Michelle said a minute ago, to actually share this with people and to actually make it my mission to assist the company and also just help other people obtain whatever they wanted to from their Juice Plus franchise. For me, I see the big picture. For other people, it's something just to sort of have a secondary income to improve the quality of their life. And to be able to offer that to people, I think is an amazing gift. So for me, it just made complete and utter sense at every level. And it's my privilege to be here this evening and share it with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Howard, and thank you to Sue and Simone for sharing your stories. And I think that's what comes over. Everybody's got this, it is almost, an obligation. It is that mission to make a difference. And I think that's why you're all so successful doing what you're doing. So I'm just going to hand back to Marcel.
Hello.
Yeah,
I love this, by the way. I love this quote because I'll let you read it all for yourself. But if you haven't seen this before, it just makes complete sense. And I think very often when people come into this business, they don't really know how to do it. And I think with any job, any time you foresee something that is an opportunity or something that has real value, like for me, this product did. I completely didn't know how to do this job, but I've done many jobs in the past, and trained for jobs and done training. But I just love the fact that this is something that really develops you as a person, and it develops you as a business person, and it asks of you to learn new things, which is really what life is all about. So I love this quote because I think it's a fantastic thing, which is say yes, but learn how to do it later. And that's the beauty of this business, is that the whole point is that there's a big group of people ready, willing, and able to help you. All you have to do is put your hand up, and that's it. Everyone's ready to help you. Everyone wants to help you. And most excitingly, the conferences are epic and fantastic, and I cannot wait for our next one. So if you don't know about that, ask a question.
Barcelona it is in November.
Barcelona it is.
Thank you, Marcel. And that's so true. I think this is the big thing about this business, that although it's an opportunity for you to own your own business, you're not in business by yourself. So there's a whole team of people that are here to help guide and support you, to take you where you want to go. There's no boss, you're doing it for you. There's no targets to meet. So it's kind of, we work with you to take you where you want to go. And I always say to somebody, ask yourself 3 questions. So having seen the presentation, you've heard some of the stories, have you seen enough to get you excited? Is there something that you want to know more about? Would you like to have a mentoring call to help you get started in the right direction? And who do you know that would also be interested in joining you? So think about those questions and go back to the person that invited you to listen into the call, and they can then help you to get to the next stage. I'm going to say thank you very much to everybody for joining the call. Thank you to Marcel for your fantastic presentation, to Sue, to Simone and Howard for sharing your testimonials. And I look forward to seeing you all again next month.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks,
Take
Michelle.
care, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle.
Have a
Bye.
good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.